Okay, so I do not know if you can see my screen or yep, can everybody see my screen? Hello?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Okay, good. So if you can see my screen, then we'll just proceed with everything. So I will jump into my slides and we could start. So um this is a 1 day free graphic design class. It's meant to help you have an understanding or a good understanding of what graphic design is and how you could apply it in real life situations. Um, so we're not going to try and waste time. We're just going to try and see how we can compress it within the space of an hour plus. And I'm going to have start with a quick introduction about myself. So I'm a graphic designer. I studied electrical electronics engineering from the University of Jos, and I've been working on graphic designs for more than 5 years now. Should be 6 years. And I've worked with some government organizations. I've worked with private firms and clinical on all the things that you basically people used to say. And I believe in that design is more than aesthetics. It's not just designing for for visual appeals, but also to communicate a message. And I'm also very interested in motion graphics. I'm interested in tech and everything that concerns working with systems or technology or something like that. Then I am very passionate about ensuring that people grow. So you are not the same person that you were last year when it comes to your skills or the things that you know. Trying and improving is one thing that I'm always big ups on. So I try as much as possible to see how I can put um, more effort to growth. So my vision or my goal is to grow into a highly skilled professional. So just to be able to give out to those who are interested in graphic designs, not just graphic designs, but using technology as much as possible to communicate ideas, to communicate or to solve problems in any way possible. So enough of myself. I'm just going to go straight into what we have for today. So give or take should be about an hour 30 minutes, but we are not going to use up to an hour 30 minutes. We're going to try as much as possible to compress it into just an hour. We also have a demo where we'll see how we will practice we'll maybe replicate the design we used for the invitation. Now, okay, sorry, I need to admit somebody. Yep. So we I'm trying as much as possible to see how we can compress this within the space of an hour. So we'll try and have make a mindset discussion where we'll just introduce ourselves to the concept of graphic designs. Then we'll have the core teaching where we'll talk about the principles and maybe consider some of the elements of design. Um, Most of the things that we have in in those cases. Then we'll also have a live design demo where we'll talk about not just talking about but also practice some of the things that we talked about in the core teachings, so like the alignments, the hierarchy, the spacing, and the typography things there. So try as much as possible to also put that into life in just 6 steps. And then we also have a practice where I will actually give you guys an assignment, and then you will try and see how you could maybe design something or anything that you feel you can design. I'll just give you a rough structure where you can implement in the design. Then we also have so we are going to start with the mindset and the introduction. So we'll be breaking wrong assumptions and trying to see how uh, what design is and what design is not. So let's start. So now, the first assumption is more that design is more like it's for aesthetics. So it's like more of like a decoration, or it's to make things look nice. yes, a lot of people used to, a lot of people have that assumption, but I think design is more than that. Design is like solving a problem, is to solve a visual problem. So in cases where there are people who are visually impaired, they do not have the ability to see, you could you could design a particular product that helps people who are even visually impaired to to be able to use products, or to be able to uh, apply a particular use of a product to solve a problem for them. That is also design. So you could move from graphic designs, or product designs is another part of graphic designs. Motion design is a part of graphic design. So graphic designs is broken down into, I think, about eight, majorly eight, but there are more than that. I think there are about 20 something also. So but there are majorly eight designs that you could, majorly eight aspects you could break your designs into. There's motion, there's products, there's industrial, there is UX UI, there is also editorial designs. There are a lot of designs that are under graphic designs, and all those ones are are a means of solving a problem. So we have motion designs. It helps to add um, action or motion to a still image. That's for motion designs. So it's solving the problem of having things being boring or being still, or not having to add life to it. So you add life to designs that are just still. Then we have product design. No, product design probably like how do I want to explain it? Like, okay, maybe you're launching an app. There's an app, so you have a problem. So you launching an app of maybe people being able to buy a particular product from a vendor, and to be delivered directly to their doorsteps, is you solving the problem using graphic design. So you come up with an idea, then now you put it in a design way. So you have a design, and you consider the steps that will be taken in for somebody to make an order, and for how that order to be delivered, or delivered to the person who has the product. Then the person delivers the product to the customer. But there is a process of design. So that is another problem solving. So the aesthetics is what actually just makes it look appealing. But if you do not consider the problem, solving the problem, you just have aesthetics but not functionality. So we also need to consider how functional your designs are when you are solving the problem. So design is not about making things look nice. Most people think design is aesthetics, but that's only the surface. So this is only the things that you can see. So like for product design, there's something called UI and something called UX. UI is what people see. UX is what how people experience what they see. So the UX is the experience in it, while the UI is the visuals, like the how do I want to put it, the interface in it. So something like, so now the real truth is designs are sorry a bit. Okay, so the real truth is that design is solving the problem visually, while every designs answer critical questions through visual communication. So if you have a problem, use your designs to solve those problems. So design is not decoration, it's communication. So you communicate an idea, or you communicate a problem, and give a solution through that problem. So what is so every design question, what is this? So when people see your design, they're asking majorly three questions: what is this, who is it for, and what should I do with it? So a, there's a clear identification of what this particular design is. Like when you people saw the flyer, the question that came to your mind is, what is this? Then subconsciously design, you saw the design, and what came to your mind was, what is this? Then second on, who is this for? Is it for me? If it's not for me, I skip. If it's for me, then I can process it. So probably more when you saw it, what you saw was one day free design retreat or something like that, because there are principles that are applied to the design, so it solves a problem. So he introduced you to solving a problem of learning to become a designer or something like that. So what should I do, or what should be the call to action when you see a particular design? Okay, good. So I don't know, everybody can see hear me, right? Okay, no problem. Thank you. So, um, as I was saying, so there's a call to action for every design that you see. You see it, you know what it is, you know who it's for, then you make a call to action. So, is it to click to register? Is it to direct you to a different platform, or is it to tell you a particular thing so you can make an action, take an action towards it? So, if your design does not communicate clearly, it has failed, and no matter how beautiful it looks. So no matter how aesthetically pleasing you put it, it has to communicate an idea, and it has to solve problem. So a bad design creates confusion, a good design gives clarity. So that's the that's the major difference. So my idea here today is to communicate to you that designs are not just for aesthetics, but they are also for functionality, or they are to solve a problem or communicate an idea. So now the core teaching is that we are going to consider three pillars: the principles, typography, and layout. Now, typography and layout fall under the elements of designs, while principle is mainly the whole is a guideline to how you should apply those elements when you are designing. So let's start with the principles. So there are about 7 principles when it comes to graphic designs, but we'll just consider just 3 of them, which are the major design principles. Any other design principles fall under these 3 principles. If you obey these 3 principles, you will have a visually appealing design and also a functional one. But if you tend to ignore any one of them, you might not have the desired end as it. So the first one we're going to be considering is alignment. Now, alignment deals with how you position your elements in the design. So we should actually be considering elements of designs before the principles, but I just want to have a structure where we see that there's a guideline, then we can actually see the elements afterwards. So alignment deals with how you position your elements in your Canva or in your design space. So if you have like you have a design board where you need to put all your this in, you have to understand how to align those elements. So the elements can be the text or the typography, or the elements can be the shapes, can also be lines, can also be the texture, can also be the layout. So how you position those things within your design canvas or your design space, it's very important, and to help your design to be easily to help people to easily navigate through the message you are trying to pass. So I will give you a breakdown of how you could apply those principles. Then the other one is hierarchy. Now hierarchy deals with which element or which information or content is most important, then followed by the next, then followed by the next, then followed by the least. So the most important information that you want to communicate should come as the biggest, or should come as the most pronounced. It must not be the biggest, but it must be the most pronounced, in such a way that you could use different things as hierarchy. You could use a more contrast color, or you could use a more vibrant color as hierarchy. So it's not just about shapes and sizes, but it's also about how prominent, sorry, a particular color or a particular element or content is. So if we are talking about you want to invite somebody to an occasion, the header or the header for that design should be the biggest, then followed by the next, then followed by the next, then followed by the least. So that's how it should be. Then the next one, or the last one, is contrast. Now contrast shows the difference between what differentiates what is in the background to what is in the foreground. Now in a case like in the examples I gave here, where you could see the contrast here, it's not visible enough because the text on it is not as it's not too different, or it's not far away from the background. The same way here, and this one probably there's a text that is the same color with those ones, so you see that there is no contrast in this case here. While for a good and legible design that has a very good contrast, you see that there's a very wide difference. So contrast is the differences between one that is more pronounced, and the background. So it shows the differences between two elements, so the text and the shape, or two shapes, or two text. So contrast also can be in shapes, can be in sizes, and can also be in colors. Same thing as hierarchy. Hierarchy can be in shapes, can be in sizes, and also can be in colors in those cases. So you master these three principles and you're like 90% already there with applying principles to designs. It will help you a lot when you're applying those principles. So we'll move to the next one, which is typography and layout. Now, typography really is using text to communicate ideas. In there are designs that you do not use typography at all, or you don't use text at all, and you communicate an idea. There are a lot of those ones, and we'll talk on those ones, because these Friday classes will be probably every week, and we'll just try and see as much as possible we can talk. Maybe we'll just be doing designs, just purely designs. We'll pick a flyer for the week, then we'll just focus on how we could apply maybe principles to those flyers. So if you're a beginner, it will also help. But there's something also much better that I will announce at the end of the class. So applying typography, there are principles you use to apply this element called typography, or applying use of text. Now, fonts is not for decoration. Fonts are communication tools, so they are to be used to communicate an idea. Now, there are 3 golden rules. The first, you have 3 fonts maximum that you use in a design. It should not be more than 3 fonts. If it gets to, in fact, most people will say 2, but 3 is the peak, or is the sweet spot. If it goes beyond 3, you cannot redeem that design again. It has to go 3 below. Try as much as possible to play with sizes and shapes if you want to have variations when it comes to your design. You want to add a little bit of drama. 2 fonts is enough, at most 3 fonts. Now, as I said, you could use sizes when you want to play with fonts on your design. So instead of maybe you want to make your text look a little bit different from a particular one, you could use size in that case, or you could use colors in that case. So do not use more than 3 fonts, please, in that if you are designing. Okay, so now layout thinking. Now, layout thinking is how you position your designs. There are principles that you could apply to using layout. Now, when you are designing, you start with most times the headlines. Then you have a particular structure that you work with. Some people use the golden ratio. Some people use the grid systems, while some people try as much as possible to play with a lot of try to be freestyle. They try to be more freestyle, or more free with how they approach their designs. So for me, I'm more like freestyle, but there are sometimes I use grid systems. So you have like a grid system that will help you to know where to place your designs. You will have 3. Sorry. Yep. So you could have grid systems that will help you to know where to place your objects, or where to place your text, or where to place things like that. So I will show you an example of those ones. So this is a live demo of how I went about. So I'm just going to skip this video. It's not supposed to be there. Just try as much as possible to see how we can run through the whole process. So I'm going to do a live design here. So in case there's any questions, or during the steps of the design, you could ask any question, and then we'll also see how we can communicate. So now, first of all, there is always a setup phase when you are designing. Now, you don't just start designing like that, or just you need to have an idea first. If the idea is to design for a business, or maybe you have any kind of business that you're designing for, or you have a business that you're running, or somebody has a business, or a client comes to you and has a business idea, you first to understand what the business is about. You're trying to understand what the what the message the person is trying to communicate. If it's a promo, if it's for celebration, if it's for an event, is what those things are. Then now you have a setup phase. Now you gather all the contents that you necessarily need. So if the person is telling you that, oh, it's for a promo, so you have the text for a promo, the name of the promo, or what the promo is about, what are the benefits of the promo, how the what do you call it, the call to action, or the images that you need to, and the images that you need to add in those designs. So I'm going to use the design I posted as an example. So now the first process is that you gather, as I said, you gather all the contents that you need to start up the phase. So now I want to design something for, as I said, I want to make a design for a class, a free class. Now I first started by gathering all my content. And how did I gather my content? First of all, I try to know what I want to do. I want to design. I want to hold a class, a 1 day class, and I want a flyer for it. So what am I expected to do? I write down what I want to do first. I give it a title. So the title is like Friday free class, and that's the main title. Then the body of the title is going to communicate the dates and also the time, and probably the benefits or what people are to gain in the class. Then other extra things will be for aesthetics. So the main ideas or the main things that I want to communicate have to be legible. Any other thing you're adding is for aesthetics, as I said. So I gather the content first. This is the title of the class. This is what people are to get, and this is the message that I'm trying to communicate. Then there's also a goal at the end of the program, or at the end of anything. So this is a like a rough look of how my Canva was actually looking like. Then now the second step is to start adding text. So as you have a header, you have the content of the dates, the time, and also the venue. Then you also have the content of the things that people should benefit, and probably a call to action. So you begin to have those texts written down first. You could add those texts to your design first. Now I know most of us will want to be like, oh, what about the background? Won't you have a background? You have a background now. So the background is the setup phase. It's also a content. It's also something that is contained in your design. So you could have the background designed first, then you can have your text added next. Then now you can begin to apply hierarchy. So which one is most important? As you have already a rough text of the header, you have the contents, and you have the date, the time, and other things, the call to action. So you begin to apply hierarchy. Which one is most important? You scale it up by either giving it size or by giving it a clear or a legible or making it legible so that people can be able to see first. So the first thing you see is what is most legible and is what is most given the highest priority. So in this case, we're applying text. So I just put my text roughly there. The text all of them are in the same font sizes. They have the same font sizes, although they are different font weight, but the same font sizes. So you could see all of them now. There is possibly no hierarchy here, except except this one here in this particular place, but there's no hierarchy in this case. So when I begin to apply what I call hierarchy, that's when I begin to say, oh, which one is the most important? Friday free class, because when the people see Friday free class, they know that, oh, this is a class that is free, and to be very good if I want to learn design. Then there's also at the down part here, which is a 1 day designers retreat. So for those who are interested, it's just for a day. It will not consume your time. It's just something you come and you know, oh, these are the steps that I need to take to become a better designer, or these are the steps that I need to take for me to become a designer, even though I'm a beginner. So that's you applying sorry, excuse me. Okay, so that's you applying hierarchy in your design. Then I'll move on to fixed alignment. Now, fixing alignment is placing your design elements, or the things that the text, the shapes that you have in your design, placing them in such a way that it will be very easy for people to go through or people to understand. So in this case, most of them, I'm using the left alignment here. Now, for alignments, um there are mainly things that you should understand. There's a balanced design and there's an imbalanced design. Now, it doesn't mean that a design that is not balanced would not be looking good or will not communicate its message. It just means that if you are using an imbalanced design or an imbalanced alignment approach, you need to consider that there is somewhat of a very organized way. So how do I say it? Using alignment, it has to be balanced as a beginner, or you get to a particular point where you understand the principle and how to execute it very well, that you can actually use an imbalanced design aesthetically and it will still be very functional. I'll show you an example maybe in the next class. I'll show you an example of how there are different designs that are imbalanced, or the principles that are imbalanced, and how you could actually use them to your advantage. You could break hierarchy, the law of hierarchy, and you still have a very, very good design. You could break the law of contrast and you can still have a very good design. So laws are there to be broken according to people who break the law. Then we also have adding of images. So if you have a structure or you have your text already there, you begin to add your images to bring it to life. So in this case, I added the scroll and just added a little bit background to it to make it pop out, or to bring it to add contrast in somewhat way. So your eyes is fixed towards this first. Now, based on hierarchy, your eyes comes to this first, then it goes to this one next, then it goes to this one next, then it also goes to this one next. So that's how your eyes is being guided before you go to the date, and you go to the venue, and then go to the benefits of the designs too. So that's about adding images. Then we'll talk about spacing. Now, for spacing, sorry, admit. Now for spacing, how you space your elements, or how you space the things on your design, is very important, because it helps your design either to breathe or it chokes your design. In many cases, you see a design that is too choked up and you cannot communicate the message more clearly. So in this case, I try as much as possible that there is a lot of space at these edges, using a very good alignment. So you could there are what's it called there are principles that work with other principles that help your designs to breathe. um, if you are trying to apply those principles, you should try as much as possible to ensure that there is space for any changes that might occur. Okay, let me explain. So in a case where probably there might be an additional content to your design, like maybe I have something I need to add that concerns this link. If I scale everything up and they are probably at close to the edges, it will be hard for me now to add any other thing there. But now I have space. In this case, I could decide to add something below here. I could add something by the down corner here. I was even having something at the top here. So there's a lot of space at the edges. There's also space that I could decide to add maybe something around here and it still go. So try as much as possible try as much as possible to ensure that there's space anytime that you're designing, so it gives your elements, or gives the things in your design, room to breathe. Ensure that they have room to breathe. Now, in all this, I'm going to try as much as possible. Let's see if we can design something. I wanted to do a already made design, but I think I'll just start from afresh. Let me see how we can just use a color palette and come up with something, just a fresh design. I hope everybody can see my screen. Like you can see the software. Hello everyone. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So okay, so let me just start something from scratch and then let's see. Oh, okay. Your network. But anyone, if you are having network issues, you can still catch up anytime. So let's see if we can have maybe just a quick design, and I'll pick the same element here, an image. So what's the idea we are trying to communicate? So let's say if you have any idea, please you can type it in the comments and listen so that we can design something concerning it, but just relating where we can use this image. Okay, so following our steps, we say the first step is to have a setup. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, is to have a setup. Then we can add our text and we can begin to apply hierarchy. Okay. Premium images, all those ones, everything will be discussed. I will show you guys how you can get all those files and how you could apply all the this image is not actually premium. It's like something you can get from the internet, then you edit it to suit the idea, and then you can have something like that. So I will show you how. I'm just going to show you a quick demo of how I do that, then proceed. So let's see how we can come up with this design. So let's say we want to design let's say just a design battle. Let's say a design battle between maybe a graphic designer or a UX UI designer and or social media designer and a brand identity designer. So let's just say we want to do a battle between those two, and I want to introduce a concept or something like, let me just say a concept. So let's say design battle. We'll call it design battle. We can use there are a lot of things you can use different. So this software is called Adobe Illustrator. There are a lot of softwares you could use. You could use Figma, you could use Adobe Illustrator, you could use Photoshop. A lot of us use Photoshop to do our designs. I use Illustrator the most. Then you could also use Affinity Designs. There's Affinity Designs, the new design software. I'm also in the phase of trying to understand the software, but I think it's similar to using Illustrator and various softwares in the design space. So let's say we have this design battle. We could just keep it by the side, and we could use ChatGPT, yes, to come up with the text. So let's say we call it design battle, and sorry, should I be showing you people my distance? Okay, so I will just have it generate some text for me because I like to use poems most times. So let's call it design battle. So it will give me some of the text that I will use. Yeah, so let's have it as design battle, and then we have this as the next phase in that stuff, and then we could also have details like what design battle is, and then who is it for, and how can people apply to it. And then now we'll work on our background. As I said, setup first also includes you creating your background. If you do not have an idea of what your background looks like, there is no problem. You can do the background later, but just try as much as possible to set up first. Have your text added, kept by the side, or have a concept of what you want be. So gather all your contents and then you can start putting them together. Now there is a technique I use mostly when I'm designing, when I'm creating my backgrounds. Actually, my backgrounds are created from scratch. I try as much as possible to see how I can put those in um in good use. So let's say I want to have an idea of having two different backgrounds, but putting the person who is a boxer at the middle. Let's see um what color will go with red. Okay, so let's have this. I want to pick this circle here and introduce it here. It's just a circle. You could create this using, or we'll create it from scratch instead of picking that. I want to have a font called Gimbal. It's a very nice gigantic font. I'll bring this one to the front and I can place it here. You could zoom, scale it up to make it bigger. In this case, now I'm beginning to apply hierarchy and stuff. So you could apply your design battles and put it maybe at the center here. While this color is too obvious, let's see. Now creating our background, I could replicate this or just come here, add my shape, and add that shape here and select the two of them. So we say control left up. Okay, sorry about that. Very sorry about that. And sorry. Good. Okay, share back my screen. Entire window. And share. Okay, so let's have it. Let me move that. I don't have that idea again. We have this, and we could select something in a lighter shade. Okay, yeah. Where I downloaded the font from. Okay, so where I downloaded the font, let me see if I could get my text messages here. Yeah, so I downloaded it from I think just from the internet. I will send you the name of the font, so I'll send it to the group chat so you guys can actually see how you could download it, and maybe send you the link of the font in that case. So we have these two. I can put two of them together, click them, and we'll say option command or alt control B. It means you blend it. It's a blend feature under the blend tool here. If you double click it, you could come to specified steps and you could choose the number of steps that you want your the two of them that are being fused together to have. This is just like a normal feature in Adobe Illustrator. I think there are other softwares that can do this too. So I'll come into the distort and transform. I will apply a zigzag effect, and I could choose how intense I want the zigzag effects to be. I could also come here and apply a tweak effect, and I could add how I want it to be. Now I will double tap outside and also send this one to the back so it looks like this. The font also can be changed into something more legible. Remember, contrast is very important. So could design it and just maybe place it by this side, and I probably might want it to be in a different font instead of Akira. I will select Akira instead of that font, and now I wanted to show you guys how you could apply the use of maybe 2 or 3 fonts. I just want to use 2 fonts, either the Gimbal and what's it called, the Gimbal and is it Orile or something like that? I'll show you the name of the font too. So I could place this at this side, and it's more legible for anybody. It's always very legible for anybody that wants to that is going to see the design. Come back to my chat GPT, and I will take this and have that placed there. I'll change this to, this is the name of the font. It's my brand font, the official brand font name. Change that to white so it's more legible. And also now you could use a different font weight. So a different font weight to actually make it to stand out from the other fonts that are the same to it. So and that, and then we go back and put space in between, and we have this. Then now we could add something called, now as we already have a design battle, it's going to be between social media designers and brand identity. So I already have two fonts here. Adding another one is not bad, but I'm trying to, as much as possible, to see how I can use two font type. Sorry about that. Yep, so we could add grasses here. And then we could change it to yellow. So we could bring that over here. Now I said we are going to create a what is it called? That circle, the ring around it. Let's ensure that this is all in the front. Bring it to front and shift it to this side. Now, how I applied alignment in this case is that my text are left aligned while my image is also placed in a way to balance the text. So text one side, image one side. So that's the balanced design. But in a case where I want to apply it all back in imbalanced design, I could actually bring this here. I believe it's space here, but I will just add maybe a little bit of text, just one text in this place. So it's an imbalanced design, but it still communicates the message. But I just want to ensure that I have a balanced design here. So what we are trying to create is the circle. We could have the design this like this. We change the color into this, or we could make it lighter. I use HSB in this case. To change it, is you check it here. All this will be covered. Don't worry if you are confused now. It's just for us to have an understanding of what design is and how we can apply designs. But I use HSB, which is hue, saturation, and brightness. So in that case, I said I want to decrease the saturation in this case. Control C, Control F. So Control C is to copy, Control F is to paste in front. So I have two of them here, or Command F is Command C, Command F, or anyhow you want to put it. So I'll change the appearance or the opacity to screen to make it white, so it looks white there. I go here, I do blur and Gaussian blur, and then you could set it to 30 so it spreads well. So you could increase the size of the one in front, which has the blur effect on it. Then we could also Control C, Control F, or Windows, or Command C, Command F, then adds more to it. If you want, you could, here you could see the effect. The effect also is at the top here, but now because you can see the effect here, you can decide to delete that effect that has the Gaussian blur and apply a different effect called radar blur. You could zoom to it, increase the zoom to about 60, and then you also have something like that. Then you could say Control C, Control F, but you could decide to change it to overlay or soft, so it has like a soft look to it. So Control you highlight all of them, Control G to group them, or Command G, and then you could bring it into your Canva, and that's how you have your light. So we created our own background ourselves, we created our own element our own self. So in case you cannot get your own elements, or you cannot create your own elements, you could get your elements online. I'm going to teach you guys. There is a class that is coming up. I'm going to teach you guys how to also use AI to fuse to have a design. So I have this that I created today using AI as an assistant. Now, AI did not design it from scratch, from start to finish. I gave it an idea and I turned it into this. So this is just for happy salad to everyone that is there. So this is what we have so far. Now we could decide to add what it's about. So we could say a design challenge, a design challenge. I think we should change it to, we'll call it a design challenge between social media designers, sorry, and brand identity designers. So we have that there. Then you could begin to add location, what is it about, the date. You could say Friday 20th, sorry, that's not how to spell Friday 20th March. Add time could be 8 p.m. You could add venue via Google Meet, and so on and so forth. If you want, you could create that what's it called, as I said, you create the hierarchy, or you create is it contrast you want to use? You could create contrast, or you could create maybe a show of difference between those two. So I could come here and say this is, use that one as there, because once people see this is like most important. They'll begin to look for how can they register, or what would they need to register, and then we could just keep that maybe over here, and we could add a call to action. So let me just use this call to action because I don't want to go and be creating another one different again. So using this one as a call to action, in this case you could place it here, you could place it here, and you could use a script font in this case to communicate your idea. So let's say so let me just pick a script font, and let's say scan here to register. Then a script font, this is a nice script font. Change the color to white because black will not give it a good contrast. Then we could decide to add an arrow in this case, or we could change this to this. Then we could add an arrow using the curvature tool. All this will be explained, don't worry. So you could do something like that. Remove the fill, increase the stroke, make it, you could add a dash line, and you could also add a arrowhead. Change the color to white, and then we have our arrow like that. So this is just like a simple design where you could have, then you could begin to add other aesthetics, like maybe have something flying around, maybe a boxing glove, or you could have another thing flying around, or just having good. But this is a design that actually communicates an idea, a design battle, and you have other things that are not the idea, but you could just add them as maybe aesthetics. Like this part here is just for the, should I say it's for the aesthetics, but it's just there to actually add a little bit flesh to it, or something like that. So that's how you could come up with a design and see how you could finish it up in that one go. So now the next step is registering, or is trying to build up your skills. Now I don't know, I'm not too good. I'm learning marketing skills, but let me just try as much as possible to see that I communicate an idea that designing is not for you to say I have a skill. I have a skill. What problem are you solving? Now I've been designing for about more than half a decade. That's 5 years plus. In the 6 years, let me just say 6 years, because since 2020, I've been designing for 6 years. And as much as possible, I try as much as possible to see that if I'm designing or if I'm doing anything that concerns design and it's not adding value, I try as much as possible to just stop it, or to not even try and give people half baked. If I'm not doing it well, then it should just wait to when I'm doing it well. But I found out that over the period of time, I've not been able to um, deliver the ideas that I have, or communicate the ideas that I have to help people to who want to learn design. A lot of people come to me and ask me, okay, how can we learn design? So what are the things that I need to do to learn this design? So there is a 1 week class and a 1 month mentorship. There's a 1 week class and a 1 month mentorship class that I want to give out to you guys. Now, I want to, when you fill the form, there is a portion where I asked you guys how much do you think it would be to charge somebody for a 1 week class, and most of us answered within 10 to 20k. Some of us said within 20 to 50k. Now, the reason why I asked that is to ensure that everybody, or people who cannot, or people who find it a little bit, let me not say cannot, because everybody can, people who find it a little bit difficult to afford the payment for graphic designs will be able to afford it. So I set it up for 25. Now it's supposed to be about 40, but I said, okay, let me just give it up for 25 for a week of training and a 1 month mentorship. Now, 1 month mentorship means that you have projects that will be given to you, real life projects that will be given to you. Now, I'll help you to guide you through that project within the space of a month. About 2 or 3 projects will be given to you, depending on how you deliver the first one, then the next one will be added, and so on and so forth. So you see how you could apply those real life projects after the 1 week class. Now, in the 1 week class, I'm going to cover helping you design with more confidence and creating professional layouts, and also trying to design with AI, like the one I showed you previously, like this one, something like this, like designing this from using just AI. Like, it's the how I did it is I combined two different images, and I give it a prompt. So you have to know the kind of prompt you need to give your design for. You give the AI for it to give you a very good product. So you could have this, and you could just put your text at the end. So it actually solves most of your design problems. So in that case, so you learn how to use AI, and also you have a 1 week training class that says a crash course. I'm trying to put everything, so it's from Monday to start on Monday and end on Friday. But I actually noticed that most people do prefer pre-recorded courses, but I want to do it live, not like physically, but online live. So it will be from Monday to Friday. Then on Saturday, your project will be given to you, and then you can start your project for that period of time. Then you have this design resource pack. So most of the images that I use, the one that you people are asking, where do I get it from? I will share with you the folder. It contains about 1,000 images, premium images, and most of them are edited by me. Most of the designs, you have the PSD and you also have the PNG edited by me. Those ones contain everything inside. I'll give you those ones. And also there is a template. Now, some of the templates that I do have for my backgrounds and other things will be given to you. That's for AI. That's for Adobe Illustrator. Then at the end of the training, you have a certificate. So Redesigns is registered. Redesigns Creative is registered, and I know that we have the ability to also give certificates to those who work, who have learned, or who have taken some of our courses. A time is coming where I want to do a 6 month crash course. That one will discuss the modalities concerning those ones too. But for now, we just have a 1 week crash course, and then we have a 1 month mentorship class. So if you are interested, the QR code is there, or if you are interested, you can give me a DM a direct message, then I will act on it, and I also send you the steps to take in order for you to um take part in the class. So it's going to be a one-on-one mentorship, and other things will be there. So if there is any questions, or if there's any um thing that you are not clear about, please, you could ask questions. The floor is open. Let me Yes, I'm ready for any questions. If you have any questions, please. Okay. um, okay, yeah, you can ask your questions. Then from there, they'll just give you the final announcement, and then we can probably see how we can have our way. But I hope this wasn't a waste of our time. I hope we gained something from the whole class. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you now. Somebody said hello.
I did. I said, you said hello, everybody, and I replied. I said hello.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So yeah, so that's just the quick. But there's an update for those who are students, and I think most of the people that are coming to me are students from university. There is a discount for them. It's just 15,000 naira for the class, 1 week class and 1 week mentorship class for students. Then if you are interested, please, you send me a DM, and we get. So if there is no question, I will not want to waste our time, because I know everyone will probably have one or two things to do. Then we can just proceed to our our day-to-day activities.
Okay, my question is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, when you talk about premium, is it premium picture, or premium graphic, or premium, that guy, that picture you use as an example.
Yes.
So what do you mean by premium and not premium?
Okay. Premium in a case where there are pictures that most times people use, and they you can see it on almost everybody's page. Like, there's a particular guy
Okay,
that you can see on everybody's social media. I think I
true.
can get that guy. Um, Chubby. I think Chubby. Stock images. I think. Yeah, there is a guy that is like on everybody's social media page. The guy is an African guy like that, but anyone. So those ones are like stock images, and they are not premium. They are like everybody's image you can see. But I bet you hardly see this particular one used by anybody. You hardly see a person use this particular design, particular image for his design. So it's like a premium stuff. It's not everybody that uses
Okay, so that means
it.
a premium picture, a premium graphic, or a premium design is
Unique.
a kind of unique that everybody does not have access, or everybody does not use it, something like that.
Yes, yes. It's not everybody. Like, okay, maybe the how do I want to put it? So the design bar, or the image, sorry, it's not easily seen. It's very is a rare kind of image. Yeah, kind of. That's what premium is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. So that means it can be that, can you be the one to design it from start to finish,
Yeah.
or it's
Yes.
something you can get from
No, okay. So
um
most of them I got them. Some of them I designed them. Like, okay, like every month I
oh,
try as much as possible um to have like a dump, like a photo dump where all the designs are. So okay, I'll
oh,
try
okay.
as much as possible to share with you. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to show you a um this thing that I use most times. Where is my drive?
Okay.
Okay, so let me show you my screen again so you see what I am doing. Let me say a window, and this is it. Okay, so now if you can see, this is a folder, a Google Drive folder that I have. Now, there are different stock images here. Now, since last upper year, or since upper year, I've been trying as much as possible to be dropping every month the images that I use for that month. So if you enter September dump, you could see some of the images that I used back then. So these are premium images that I used for my designs when I was doing in that particular month. You cannot see, you hardly see those images online. You hardly see them online because they are premium images. Like this one now, the style that I used here is different, so you hardly see them on somebody's image or somebody's platform. Even this guy, the way it's positioned, and it's already, the background is already cropped, or the background is already chopped off, so you could easily use it. We have December dump also, and so you could see the designs here, the images that I use. You hardly see this one on somebody's platform. You hardly see all these ones on other people's platform. So these are some of the things that I've dumped on some of them. I also have the ones that I've used this year. I also dumped them there so you could see. So you have this guy, you hardly see it on people's platform. So these like are like my personal, the ones that I've used, and I've edited them, and you can also use them if you want. You could also edit them, so have a different feel. So all these ones will be given to you guys access to it. Yep. So if there is no question, I'll drop the link the um to the design class that will start from probably from Monday. Then if maybe there is any need, we might try to maybe add up some other things so it makes it to be more rich and beneficial for most of us. But if there's nothing, then I want to appreciate you guys for coming in today. I will see you guys on Friday, next week Friday. It will be just a design class for anybody, just a normal design class. We just come and experiment on a particular design we have done for the week. Then maybe just replicate it, redesign it, and show you a process of how the design went. And also this will be posted, these recordings will be posted on YouTube. I'll share the link in on the platform. I'll share it tomorrow. So I'll try and edit everything today, and then I'll share it live on the YouTube platform. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for coming, and I will see you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye.